James Corbett of the Corbett Report, then Owen J.J. Stone, who's been a guest here with us before, technology writer and researcher. He's going to be popping in via video Skype to give us his take on all this. And then we have Steve Pieczenik, former deputy State Department, deputy Secretary of the State Department under Henry Kissinger. He's going to be joining us because he reportedly worked with Bin Laden and the Mujahideen for many years, and he was the first person to go public from a high-level position in 2002 and say that Bin Laden was dead and frozen on ice to be rolled out at an expedient political time. Then they got picked up by Madeleine Albright, many others went public with it. It was big news that broke here. After 9+ years of not being with us, Mr. Pieczenik will be on. He's scheduled coming up in T-minus 26 minutes after Owen J.J. Stone. Finishing up, Mr. Corbett, with any other points about this World War III scenario that we're being maneuvered into, right as the world government is announced, right as the dollar is being destroyed, right as the stock market is plunging, gold and silver up, Treasury to take steps to stay below debt ceiling. That's CNBC. Endgame for China and U.S. economic standoff, CNBC. Gold versus fiat money, picking a winner. U.S. debt rating should be C, independent agency. See, all of this is going on. U.S. stocks fall as investors turn defensive. I mean, this is what's happening right now while we're busy watching college kids run around and scream, yeah, USA, USA. What is the USA is disintegrating. But we also have 500 times safe levels.
I want to point out for your listeners and viewers right now, you're so right about all the storm clouds that we can see coming off on the horizon while people are busy partying, and we're trying to get ready for it. But I want to concur with something you said earlier. You made an exceptionally important point about how people are not falling for this psyop, and I've seen that going on online right now as well. I've had over 50,000 views of my Good Morning America Learns Bin Laden is CIA video in the last 24 hours, and the vast majority of the comments on there are people saying this is ridiculous. They buried the body at sea. This is insane. I don't believe any of this. There are so many people out there right now who are questioning this, and people who even would normally fall for this type of stuff are not falling for it right now. So people really need to get out there and start stressing and pointing out the Al-Qaeda myth and all of the various parts of that, because I think people are very receptive to it at this moment, and this is the moment where we can inoculate people with truth so that they can be armed with truth for when they try to stage whatever type of false flag or whatever type of precipitating event they're going to try to stage.
The system is going after the lowest common denominator. I went and saw a month ago The Battle for L.A. About space aliens invading, and it's the worst movie I've ever seen. But it was done over the top, sicky, sappy, an admitted Marine Corps ad. And it's not that I'm against the Marine Corps, folks. It was a recruiting ad for kids with a little kid crying, saying, I'm your little Marine, you are my little Marine. And, I mean, it is nothing but a giant recruiting ad. They admit the Pentagon pays millions for this to be put in. We know propaganda when we see it. And the point is, we're being propagandized. And it's the same thing with this. The sicky, sweet way it's rolled out, how it's done for lowest common denominator, where any thinking person sees how ridiculous it is. It's just incredible. Closing points on Japan.
Two very important stories came out last week that kind of flew under the radar as the Fukushima situation gets swept under the rug. But two very important points. One of them, one of the radiation advisors to the Prime Minister, a professor at a university here, resigned in disgust with the government, saying that they're politicizing what's going on here and they're just tinkering with radiation, maximum allowable radiation levels and things like that for political purposes. So that was a very important point. That's extremely unusual for advisors to the Prime Minister to just resign out of the blue like that here in Japan. And then another story about the Japanese Meteorological Agency coming under fire because they're doing these detailed radiation fallout predicting the path of the fallout and where it's going to go, but they're not releasing it to the public, and they're coming under fire for this. But basically they're saying, oh, the ignorant and uneducated public just wouldn't be able to handle it because they'd panic over this. So,
by the way, the top radiation advisor to the government quit and said levels are much higher than you've said. You didn't even evacuate schools 12 miles away while the Koreans are wearing masks and not even going out. in the last month.
We see the stoic Japanese facade slipping a little bit because some of the parents of those people in that area are starting to get angry and telling the government, we don't want our kids playing in these radioactive sandboxes out there.
Yes, and on top of it, you notice you've got Japanese top people coming out and saying they're covering up radiation levels. They admit 500 times safe levels of different isotopes found in milk and food all over the U.S. because more and more keeps belching out, and they say it may be melting down for years now and then building up as it hits us. And our government just raises the radiation level thousands of times what it previously was and says everything's fine, and there's not even a discussion of it here. I mean, this is incredible.
It is incredible. And Alex, you're familiar with the video of that mayor of Minami Soma who went on YouTube and said the government's not telling us anything and they're not helping us out?
Yes, I am. And with all of the royal wedding diversions and with the diversions with Bin Laden, we're not focusing on a lot of things we should have. And Fukushima's getting worse, for those that don't know, not
That's
better.
Right. And that mayor actually is, I'm in touch with someone who's in touch with that mayor, and he wants to come on the program. So I'm going to fire that off to your producer so you can set up an interview with him.
Absolutely beautiful. Please send that to Jaron immediately. James Corbett of CorbettReport.com. We'll talk to you again very soon. Be safe over there in Japan.
You too. Thank you.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.